Is there? Oh, so the prize pool does get shown on the stream occasionally. It is $90,000 to first place, and the favorite, if you ask a Chinese player, is Zero Panda because they're the top Chinese team. I think everyone obviously thinks Ballistix has the best overall chance of winning just because they are the BlizzCon champion. But they are playing, against teams that didn't get to BlizzCon because of visa issues. So the complete version of Zero Panda, the complete version of Super Perfect Team, going to be a little bit of a different dynamic. Here we're going to go Game 1-0 versus Ballistix. Battlefield of Eternity. EDC is going to be the ban out. And again, I'm pretty sure we're not going to see any Asian versus Asian matches where ETC is allowed through the first ban, first pick phase. I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't. Illidan is going to be the ban from Zero. Obviously, don't want to go up against a Korean Illidan. Because, let's be honest, who wants to go up against a Korean Illidan? The answer is not me and not Zero Panda. Ballistix has an option here. They can either pick up the Malfurion or they can pick up the Muradin and guarantee they get that tank, the complete version of the tank. It's not such a high priority on this map, but they're actually going to completely go off the rails. They're going to pick up the Vala. This is actually a response we've seen to EDC bans a lot. You pick up the Vala, and then you want the Tassadar Ariel. Like, that's the ideal. You get the Tassadar, you get another support, and the Vala just doesn't die. And then she feeds back all of that damage into Ariel's Hope and starts regenerating, and that is your real health healing in addition to the Tassadar burst healing of shields and sort of the extra health that shields technically give Vala. And it allows you to play very, very forward, very aggressive, putting out a lot of damage constantly. And it's a call that works pretty much every map, and Zero is going to be like, okay, well, we can't, they're going to take Tassadar if we don't take it. So we're going to take Tassadar away. We're not going to let them have that combination. This will help us deal with Vala's sustained damage, deal with her burst, and we don't have to deal with Vala Tassadar, which currently is just one of the strongest combinations available in the entire game. Especially at the competitive level, where really good stutter stepping, really good peel, really good team play is a centerpiece. Because Vala needs a certain amount of protection. And they are going to pick up Tyrael as well, limiting the tank pool slightly, actually valuing Tyrael over Muradin, Zero Panda. So they want to enable something with that. Sanctification is going to be the go-to. We might actually... I will say that I have occasionally seen Chinese teams in particular go Judgment to do Eraser-style comps. They're not as popular in NA or EU, or even Korea for that matter, as they used to be. It used to be a thing, when Judgment did a lot more damage. But we'll have to see. Ballistix is going to lock in that Muradin. They don't want to get that tank to die from in the next ban phase, and they also pick up Malfurion. I feel like they need shields at this point. I would not be too surprised to actually see Zarya picked up for Ballistix. I don't think they've played Zarya yet in competitive, but I'm a little bit concerned about the burst heroes that are left that Zero could potentially pick up. And if Vala's ever out of position, I mean, I know it's Ballistix, but if Vala's ever out of position, she could get bursted out, she could get dove on by various heroes that Zero still has available. And Malfurion does not have any burst healing of any kind. Zero is going to ban out Sylvanas. That is a scary hero to have on this map, but I feel like there was a time in the meta when we saw Vala and Sylvanas on the same team a lot. It's not something we've seen recently, however. I feel like currently, even though they have a lot of the same strengths, they also have a lot of the same weaknesses, and putting two sets of the same weakness on the same team is a little bit risky. But I understand why they don't want Ballistix to have Sylvanas on this map in particular. Rhaegar is going to be the ban for Ballistix. That does deny certain pickups. Ancestral obviously going to help a lot with burst-oriented comps. Ballistix very good at securing those pickoffs. It's one of the reasons that Rhaegar is still so highly valued in the competitive meta, even though he has dropped off in ladder play, at least, because Ancestral at the right time saving a target is critical to making sure fights don't get turned on you. And it's going to be the Greymane for Zero Panda. That is, of course, part of the meta Battlefield of Eternity. Greymane, one of the best racers on the Immortal. Just does so much damage. He actually sets up a situation where you can defend 4v5 around your mortal and use a Greymane on your mortal, and you will eventually win that race. Tychus is going to be the pickup as well. It does help him out a lot versus the Muradin. And Ballistix going to pick up the Mink, so now they have that burst, and again, this ties into why they denied the Rhaegar. They really want to make sure that those resets don't get denied. They want that burst from the Mink. They don't have a solo laner or a second frontliner yet, so I imagine we're going to see one of those picked up. It's not going to be Zarya. It is going to be Shen. So that is going to be the solo laner and the secondary tank, that secondary frontliner, to correctly zone fights. That's something they really need. It's going to help them a lot versus Greymane to have that constant slow. Eventually, at level 13, we will see Touch of Honey. I imagine we're going to see Keg Smash at 4. It's pretty standard. And that constant 40% slow will just put a real damper on Greymane's ability to keep up with Vala, because that's the target of choice. That's who they're going to want to pick off. And Zero probably isn't going to go Tassadar Soul Support. I imagine they're going to pick up support here. I would not be surprised to see Damage Kharazim again, to be honest. Damage Kharazim was a thing on Battlefield of Eternity even before his recent buffs, because he actually does exceptionally well at racing the Immortal. But they have, yep, it is Damage Kharazim. This will be the meta of Battlefield of Eternity in professional games going forward for quite a few teams. You'll actually see Damage Kharazim picked up as a secondary support or paired with a Tassadar a lot. Because Damage Kharazim played well, wins a lot of solo lane matchups. And it's always important to, when you go double support, have a support that can be your solo laner. It's one of the reasons that Tassadar, one of the many reasons that Tassadar is picked up as a secondary support a lot, is he can usually tie almost every single solo lane and be very, very safe while doing it. And then he adds the shield utility. But Kharazim adds single target damage utility, which is obviously very valuable on some maps, and he also wins a lot of the solo lanes. You've actually already seen Damage Kharazim tonight in a Tassadar Kharazim comp. We actually saw Palm picked up in that game. I imagine we're going to see Palm here, because you don't have the kill denial potential that you have with Transcendence Kharazim. You don't have the sheer healing throughput, but you have Palm. And if you get that Palm off at the right time, you can actually save. And there's a certain synergy with Palm and not taking Transcendence. Because if you take Transcendence, you're hitting something, there's a possibility that goes to the Palm target and they get healed, and then the Palm doesn't go off. And that's usually happened more than once in professional games. Whereas if you go Iron Fists, you know not to heal the target. You can't heal them on accident. You're in good shape. For those of you wondering about the rest of the schedule, this is the third set of the evening. We will be doing 5. They all beat 2 games. We'll have Zero versus Super Perfect Team up after this, and then Super Perfect Team versus Ballistix. So we are about halfway through the evening. Or halfway through the night, depending on what time zone you're in. It is 4:30 here currently. I'm staying up and casting this for everyone because I love competitive Heroes of the Storm. I'm having a really good time casting it for you. Hopefully everyone is having just as good a time watching it. So we're going to have Zero Panda, or Zero Gaming, I guess, on the left, of Zero Melody C, Zero M, Zero Gemini, Zero SK, and Zero 6. On the right-hand side, we'll have Ballistix, we'll have SCSC on Vala, Zhongha on Chen, Noblesse on Murden, Nacho Jin on Li Ming, and Swoi on Malfurion. We're going to see some aggressive bush meta going on from both teams in between. In the bot lane, we're going to see Chen just rotate up, not revealing himself. Greymane is there as well, just hanging out in the bush, making sure he does not get seen. We actually are going to see Transcendence. This is not going to be damage garrison. This is going to be a much more traditional approach. I'm actually a little bit surprised, given the fact that we've pretty much seen damage garrison exclusively so far in this tournament. But I guess they wanted the additional healing. They wanted to go for a more traditional route. You will, of course, do more damage depending on talents, regardless of what he goes for at level 1. But I'm curious to see what the entire talent build is going to look like, because the thing. We're actually going to see Monster Hunter picked up at Vala for level 1. So Ballistix is very focused on winning the race. We're going to see the standard pickup for Li Ming Force Armor. She does need that to survive the Greymane burst / dive potential. We're going to see Chen versus Greymane in the top lane. Greymane can hold that lane, he can tie it, but he has very little kill potential on a strong Chen just because the drink is so incredibly effective at mitigating his damage. We're going to see a beautiful rotation up. Noblesse is going to be able to get on top of it, but 0M does get into Worgen form. He does have Disengage available. Melody C actually saw the rotation happening as well. Came up, got the shield on 0M, made sure he didn't die, and he's going to stay and soak that lane while Greymane backs for full health and full mana. The Immortal is going to come up momentarily here, so neither team missing any soak, neither team getting any kills. Very, very even across the board right now. Convenient spawn location for 0, considering their plan is to have Greymane be on top of it. 0 is already right there. 0M was already right there. We're going to see SCSC get on top of the Immortal, start to do that damage as well. 0 Melody C actually trying to zone off the Immortal. It doesn't actually have any kill potential there. Not too threatening. I'm just trying to help 0M. And Noblesse and Zhongha both going to be on top of the Mortal 4 defense here. Noblesse getting extremely low. Does have jump available. Does have that area to jump to if necessary. It's extremely low. And the beautiful stun denying the Radiant Dash auto attack actually barely saves him. But Ballistix ahead on the race here. And they are going to get a lot of damage, but 0 forcing in, trying to make sure that they can't get DPS the Immortal safely while Greymane works theirs down. You can see they're already starting to catch up in the race, but 0-6 is extremely low. They does end up... No, they actually get the kill onto the Vala. Wow, SCSC ends up going down. Noblesse is extremely low, and the root is going to peel for him. 0 is mostly out of mana. They actually get the kill in the back there on to... Noblesse. He does end up going down finally, barely escaping death over and over again. And 0 Panda going to secure level 4 and going to secure the first Immortal off the back of that aggressive play, and Greymane just having insane solo potential. Noblesse, I can't believe he actually died on Murden. Does not happen very often. This is going to be a very low shield Immortal. It's going to continue to push in, but it's going to be in melee range, which is going to make it relatively easy for Ballistix to burn it down. We're going to see Tassadar versus Chen in the bot lane. Both teams getting that soak, but in the end, 0 is going to end up a little bit more than a level ahead of Ballistix. And this is what I was talking about. The top Chinese teams are very scary. They are not the Chinese teams we saw at BlizzCon. They had visa issues, team synergy, practicing as a team, knowing what your team's going to do, consistently practicing with them for months and months on end is incredibly important. Noblesse is actually going to get caught out here again. He might be able to jump out. He does somehow manages to jump out and live. He's fine. They actually get the pick on Tyrael. Tyrael went too deep trying to secure that kill. A beautiful route onto SK in the background. Tychus is going to get out of there, though. And that kill doing a lot to actually catch them up a little tiny bit in experience. They're going to start to get some siege damage on the towers as well. If they can get that, let's have to see how that works out for them. But these are the Chinese teams we did not see at BlizzCon, guys. The visa issues meant their rosters were not the rosters they practiced with. They weren't the rosters they qualified with. This is the real 0 Panda, the top Chinese team for the HGC Fall Qualifiers, HGC Summer. And we're going to have a pause here. So make no mistake, the Chinese teams are going to be a very difficult roadblock for Ballistix taking this, and there's a real possibility that Zero Panda wins, especially since it is their home territory. They're really, really comfortable, as we saw in their interview. Wouldn't be a Gold Club game without a pause. Oh, thank you again to all the new followers, by the way. I really do appreciate it. I don't have alerts up on stream just because I don't want them interfering with the cast, but I am seeing all the emails, and shout out to everyone who followed. I appreciate it a ton. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for participating in this with me. I've been trying to get an English cast of Gold Club going, basically for 6 months. I was really sad when summer and fall were not casted at all. Talked to Blizzard about it directly. Tried to get to talk to someone at NetEase about it directly. Unfortunately, again, don't speak Chinese. So that proved to be very difficult. Blizzard ended up not having any of the replays submitted to them because NetEase pretty much runs everything on its own. So they couldn't give it to me to cast from the replays, and there was no clean feed. So shout out to NetEase for actually providing a clean feed this go around, so that all of the games can be casted as long as someone from the community is willing to sit down and do the casting. Which is me. I'm willing to stay up all night. Cast Heroes of the Storm. Sounds like a good time, in my opinion. But it wouldn't be as much fun if I didn't have an audience. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. We will get going in. We'll get back into the game soon. I promise. I apologize for the pauses. There's nothing I can do about them, obviously, but I'm still sorry that the game is delayed. We were starting to get into the real thick of the late early game. I guess I think of 7 to 10 as like the late early game. Everything before 10 is the early game. But I want to cast the rest of this game. It's so good. So good. I hope everyone is at least as close to as excited about this game as I am, because I really do think this is going to be one of the best series all night on either stream. We are going to get going back into the game here. Zero Panda picks up level 7. Ballistix still quite a bit behind, despite the fact that they got that Tyrael pickup. And we're going to see them start to do some real structure damage here with that Li Ming poke. And we're actually going to get the tower that is going to catch them up quite a bit. But they're still about half a level behind, so not quite as much to catch them up all the way. But enough to make sure they start an even talent here. So Noblesse going to do the mobile ward. Make sure his team has vision, make sure they're not getting rotated on. He does have that escape. He just literally walks away in this case, but he did have jump available if necessary. And the timing there, Ballistix picking up that Bruiser camp right as the Immoral spawn, basically. Tygus will have to stay in lane to clear that, or they're going to start to get real damage on their structures. He actually leaves it alone. Nope, he goes back up. He's going to clear it. Started to rotate down expecting a fight, but manages to back away. The positions are favorable for defense here, so it's okay to leave Tygus alone to defend that lane for a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised to see someone from Ballistix rotate down to the bot lane and clear those breaches out as well. Looks like it's not going to happen yet. Zhangha just going crazy on 0-6, just kicking him in the face over and over and over again. It is going to be the Donkey Kong build from Chen, as expected. And we're seeing the full Q-Bolt out of Vala here, so it's going to be Monster Hunter for the increased damage against the Immortal, but then the quest to increase the damage on Q, and the repeating arrow every time she vaults, your Q automatically gets reset. This is an extremely mana-intensive build, but she does have a Malfurion, so it's not going to be too big an issue. Lots of skirmishing, lots of fighting. We're going to see Tassadar get chunked, but Melody C does have Dimensional Shift available, does get out of there. We're going to see Gemini just waiting in the bush here, doing a little bit of scouting, ends up backing up. And Tygus soaking in the top lane, and Zero actually could just win the race to 10 at this rate, because they are getting that soak, but Ballistix is actually going to get enough poke damage, and this is the advantage of Li Ming on this map. She does a lot of damage, yeah, but she does a lot of ranged poke. She can actually chunk the Immortal from far enough away that it's very difficult to defend, and if you try and defend as 5, you end up usually behind in the race. At this point, Ballistix is just trying to force the transition before Zero can get any more free soak. We are going to see the bot lane did get cleared out, so no bruiser camps pushing for either team. None of that permanent push from the camp. That is so terrifying. We're actually see a beautiful rotation here. Zero Metal C again the focus target. They're trying so hard to kill the Tassadar. This is an early game Tassadar, but still not the easiest hero to kill. We're going to see Zhanghan take a lot of damage, but he does manage to drink through most of it. And the aggression here from Ballistix is real. They're really trying to secure a kill before Zero can possibly pick up level 10. They either need to secure the Immortal or secure a kill, because they're not going to win 10 versus 9 if they don't. But they are going to manage to burn down the Immortal. We're going to see Zero SK come in, try to sort of force them off, but he is currently in a 4v1 scenario. The focus is on the Immortal, which means he's safe to play very, very aggressively here. Get some free damage, but that's going to be a nearly full shield Immortal for Ballistix, but they're down a level. Swoy ends up going down. They are going to get that kill. Sanctification comes down. We're going to see 7-sided Strike as well, getting the isolation onto SC, or not to SCSC, but getting onto Chen. He does end up going down. Noblesse barely managed to get out, but those 2 skills secured is going to make sure this Punisher gets, or this Immortal gets the minimum amount of value. Even despite that enormous shield, Greymane, undeterred, can just stand there and burn it down. He's going to do so much damage so quickly. Look how fast that shield is going down on the Immortal. And at this point, Ballistix just desperately wants to get level 10. They do finally pick it up off of that tower kill. Strafe, Avatar, Wave of Force, and Twilight Dream. I imagine we're going to see Stormwrath and Fire from Chen. We do see the Stormwrath and Fire. The Force Wall for the split, keeping them away from the fight, and they're not going to be able to get the fort just yet. And we're actually going to see Ballistix continue to push in. They're continuing to be aggressive. They want to secure this fort. Zero forced to back up. They don't have all their heroic cooldown timers available because they did use this to secure those kills. Obviously, at this point in the game, the heroic cooldowns are longer than the death timers. So Ballistix comes in 5 heroics to 3 heroics, and Zero is forced to back up. They're going to grab their bottom siege as well. Keep that bottom lane pressured in as hard as possible. We're going to see a rotation here. They're actually going to clear the wave. Melody C is staying here as Tassadar again. Incredibly safe as Tassadar, and you have good enough wave clear that you can pretty much soak any lane safely. We're going to see the rotation up. Oh, you see Zhangha throwing those kegs over the wall, getting that free damage. And Zero's actually going to seal this top siege camp. The bruisers are going to be capped here for Ballistix. It looks like they're waiting a little bit. Nope, they are just going to go ahead and cap it. Currently, the only map available, the only point of interest on the map is Zero Panda's Bruiser Camp. We're going to see Tassadar start to rotate up. Greymane coming in as well. And we're going to see Sank come down for the deny here. This was a full collapse by Ballistix. They were trying to secure those kills. They're going to start to back up. Swoy has to heal himself. Has taken quite a bit of damage, but again, both teams carefully, cautiously backing up. Happy to back up. Ballistix actually going to push in with their Bruiser Camp. They're trying to secure as much free damage here as they can. It will catch them up completely in experience if they can secure this top fort, but it looks like Zero is going to manage to bully them back and clear the Bruiser Camp at the same time. We're going to see it again. Noblesse being far forward, being that mobile ward. He has that really crisp judgment about where he can escape to and when. And we're going to see, look at the burn. Look at how much this Q build Vala does to the Immortal so incredibly quickly. This is one of the best race builds in the game. You have to give up Hopper Super, but it's so worth it. Noblesse takes a ton of damage from 7-sided Strike. He does have Avatar available as soon as he gets out. Tyrael ends up going down, actually. He might get the counter kill on Noblesse. The laser! The laser plus the Tyrael explosion is enough, and that ends up being a 2-for-1. That's well worthwhile. Tyrael's the Tyrael. You're okay with dying at the start of every fight. We're going to see Malfurion, actually, Swoy ends up going down. Jungha's extremely low. Storm Within Fire not available to save him. We're seeing the chase is real. SCSC, the only one to live to tell the tale of that fight. And we're going to see 0M and SK get right on top of that Immortal. Greyman's going to burn it down incredibly quickly. We see Tassadar with the zoning here. He's just staying there, making sure Vala doesn't rotate and get free damage. And the burst from Greyman there, securing those early kills, did so much work. We're going to see that instant replay. See, Noblesse does get 7-sided here, barely managed to jump it out in time, then pops Avatar to make sure that the 7-sided doesn't get even more value. Tyrael ends up going down, but they managed to isolate Li Ming first here in the back, and the Death Explosion plus the laser actually finishes off Murden in exactly the same time. Crisp play from Zero Panda. We're going to see, again, Sanctification denying these kills in those tight corridors, making sure that burst damage does not happen, but Ballistix trying desperately to defend. And I don't think they're going to get it. I think they're going to have to be forced to give us more. But Tyrael goes down again. He is going to be able to explode on the Immortal. And, 3 for none. The Immortal with 1600 health. The chase is still real. They're on top of 0SK. There's no way he gets out of that. It's going to be a Tychus down. And the only person to live is Tassadar, and it's only because it's really hard to kill a good Tassadar player. And, of course, these are professional players. And Ballistix just totally turned that fight on a dime. Such an incredible amount of damage. Vala barely staying alive. She does have Siphoning Arrow now, which means the Q build resets are going to give her a ton of self-heal. We're going to see the slow coming in, the Ice Block from Malfurion, Healing Static from Murden, all these cool tools that Ballistix now has going to make their comp so incredibly strong. We are seeing the standard damage build from carries, except you did go Transcendence, so we're seeing still the new talents, we're seeing the Earth Eye, we're seeing the Spell Shield, we're seeing the Radiant Dash talent at 7, that improvement. Noblesse just being so aggressive with Healing Static. This is one of the things you can do once you have Healing Static, is Murden, just dive in, get all that free healing. As they focus you, you have resistance from the Dwarf Toss, and we're going to see them forced to back up off the back of that. That is going to be the top fort, basically for free. The Immortal didn't take very much damage, but it is going to get the keep wall here, and Ballistix is probably going to want to back up here. They're not going to try and force the fight, even though the Immortal is still alive. We see Zero already doing the dive in. The fort will finish it off, or the keep, excuse me, will finish it off. Noblesse, again, they try and isolate him with Force Wall, but he times that Dwarf Toss perfectly. He gets over the wall, even though the wall wasn't even there yet. He knew the Tassadar's range. He knew where he had to jump. Noblesse on Murden is a sight to behold. You're going to see a lot of chase here. Noblesse, again, extremely low. He still has Avatar available, however, he does manage to back off in time to tap. Second wind is going to kick in as well. He's going to be in good shape. I kind of wish I could check his perfect storm stacks, because Noblesse does not miss a lot of Qs. Of course, as I say that, he misses a Q. Caster Curse. Sanctification announced. Noblesse gets absolutely chunked. He's going to be forced to Avatar if he does not want to die here. He does jump over the... I even know what I'm talking about, because this is Noblesse. I totally forgot about that. Laser almost kills him, but he's still absolutely fine. Second wind finally going to kick in. Strafe doing a ton of damage to everyone. They finally get a kill. That means Li Ming is going to start to have resets, and this is the huge danger. As soon as that first kill goes down, Li Ming resets are real. We see Jongha continue with the chase. Greyman creating space for his team may actually get away. What? Eyes in the dark, not enough. Juked them with Eyes in the dark, apparently. I wanted to see that chase for much, much longer. But we are going to just see this continued push in off the back of the kills. Ballistix 16 to 15. They have that long range poke from Li Ming. They can siege this keep, but they back up. They decide not to risk it, and they are just going to get on top of the Immortal, get full health, get full mana. See Zhanghe, he does have that level 4 quest finish, which gives him that increased range on barrel, which means he can check over obstacles, as we saw him do there. It's going to be incredibly useful for them, keeping in vision of all those camps. Just checking every so often. You're going to see 0-6 and SK in the bot lane trying to soak level 16. They know they can't win the race in the Immortal since they weren't on top of it when it spawned, and the positions were favorable for race but not for defense. So they need to soak 16 and then immediately start a team fight. But as it stands, there's so much burn from Ballistix, they're not going to get a chance to do that, especially with no Bless zoning and SCSC just on top of it with that Q build. And Li Ming with her poke. There's just nothing that Zero Panda can do. They do finally have an opportunity to force it's 2,500 health, 23, 19, 1,700. Like, that's a couple of Qs, a couple of mirror balls from Li Ming. They're going to be giving up basically a full shield Immortal, and there's not much they can do about it. 7-sided Tractors going down, but a Storm Within Fire actually counters it. It does hit across all 3 of the Storm Within Fire minions. Tyrael gets instantly erased again. Karazin goes down as well. Melody probably is going to get out of here because it is a Tassadar, but everyone else is 100% dead here. You're going to see the beautiful route onto 0M. He does have Disengage available, but SK is caught. No way he lives through this. And Zhanghe is just going to stay on top of this Greymane. He can disengage as many times as he wants, but he's not getting away from these barrels, from these kicks. Zhanghe is going to have to drink here, but he will have enough brew to get again over the wall. And he's in here now. He's in here, but he's drinking. He's going to kick back over the wall. He's absolutely fine. And with the Pursuit, does have that Tassadar shield, so he does have Leeching Plasma, but Ballistix picks up the Immortal off the back of that chase. You can see Sanctification is right there, but 0-6 actually comes out of the Sank with Holy Ground, trying to make sure they stay in the fight, and he gets instantly erased by that Twilight Dream. Meanwhile, Zhanghe with the chase. Storm Within Fire does end. Melody C does get out of there because Tassadar, but everyone else except Greymane and Tassadar end up going down. And we're going to see Zero take the fight to Ballistix here. They really don't... They know they're going to lose that keep if they just passively defend the way they normally would. If they can take a fight, they're going to be in better shape. Noblesse with the stun. And, oh, Melody C almost ends up going down. Does have Prescience and Dimensional Warp. And we're going to see Sanctification here. Again, Li Ming ends up going down. That removes a huge threat, but they finally managed to get the kill onto Tassadar. Twilight Dream comes off cooldown. They do get a beautiful Twilight Dream, but it does not secure any additional kills, and Swoy actually goes down before anything can happen, as does Murden. SCSC going to go down as well, and Zhanghe is just distracting at this point. Storm Within Fire comes off cooldown, gets used up instantaneously. Actually going to get the kill into Zero. Are the Panda Pals going to clean this fight up? Zero Gemini, extremely low, but he does have Transcendence. And Zhanghe does not have enough healing. That is going to be Immortal on core, however. The keep is gone, gone, gone. Laser going to come down just for the defense here. They're burning this down as quickly as possible, so they don't want to lose too much real damage on their core. 90, 80, 73. It looks like they're getting down to the 60, 65% range, and then that will be it. 57, 48, actually. The menu wave does get there as well. And that is a scary, scary position to be in. You're going to see Zhanghe just casually in the top, soloing the siege camp. We're going to see Zero Panda rotate down. Make sure they grab the bottom siege at least. This will help de-push the catapults a little bit. But Zero's losing the race to 20 right now. Ballistix is well on their way. At this point, Ballistix would prefer to soak 20 and then fight. And Zero would actually prefer to fight as aggressively as possible because they don't want to have to fight 19 to 20 if possible. And we're going to see Ballistix actually accommodate Zero. We're going to see the aggressive invade here. Greymane is in the top lane, so this is going to be a 5v4 if they decide to stick. Holy Ground is available, of course, and Ballistix, like, okay, you have Holy Ground. We're not going to be able to steal the camp away from you. We're going to back off. Zero actually hesitated to fight here. I'm so a little bit surprised they didn't try a little bit more aggressively to take that fight, considering they know they're not going to have an opportunity to fight evenly here in a moment because Ballistix will be 20. Actually killing the wall here in the mid, so there's no potential getting away. They're actually poking down the well, too. Looks like Tassadar is going to throw a shield on that. And this is going to be 20 to 19, and Zero's pretty much stuck in their base. They are like, okay, well, we know you're there. We're not going to come out. We don't want to fight you. Tychus is going to continue to push out, get that bottom soak. And favorable spawn positions for the race, unfortunately for Zero, because this means Ballistix is going to easily be able to force the transition. And I don't entirely know. Zero Panda is positioning very aggressively. They're very far forward. Are they looking for this fight, even though they're down one of the strongest talentiers in the game? It looks like they are. Noblesse is going to get significantly chunked. Actually, they managed to pick off Noblesse, even through Avatar. He did not have Hardened Shield, did take Rewind, but we're not going to see a counter kill. Li Ming combo does miss. We're going to see 7-sided strike him down to a lot of damage. And Tassadar almost goes down, but he does have Prescience. They actually get the kill onto Vala as well. Sanctification comes down. Kerosene, meanwhile, in the back line, gets picked off. Malf with Ice Block is gone, gone, gone. They get the pick on Tyrael. Nacho getting those resets. We're going to see Melody Seek get so incredibly low. I believe all of her Get Out of Jail free cards have been used. Storm Within Fire not available, but Jungha is going to actually get out. The zoning Li Ming combo. If that chase had continued, that would have probably resulted in a kill. At this point, the best thing that could happen is that Ballistix could force the transition. Catapults are going to be on core in the bot lane. That's something Zero has to consider in terms of how long they want to continue this fight. If the Ballistix can continue to drag this out, those catapults will start to do real core damage again. This is post-transition. So if they can force Zero off, they will be able to potentially have a chance to get the Immortal, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. The Immortal is going to go over 100%. Zero Panda. There's no... Greymane can burn it down and escape very nicely here. We're going to see a little bit of a collapse on here, but the Rewind... Rewind kills... Rewind on Murden actually securing that kill onto Greymane, and that's very, very unfortunate. They actually get the kill onto Tychus as well, and that's going to be game. At this point, they can just go core. They don't chase the Tassadar. They don't chase the Tassadar. They thought about it. Nostradamus actually extremely low on mana. I don't entirely know. If Nacho goes down, they're going to have a much harder time ending. We're going to see a beautiful pick off of 7-sided. Nacho tried to go in by himself into a Kerosene. He actually can't do that because of 7-sided strike. That is going to be a free kill. They get the pick off and they get the counter kill on Tyrael though. Nacho is going to get innervated and healed up by Swoy, so he's going to be in good shape. That's all the jail free cards down for Tassadar again. We're going to see Gemini dive in and then dive right back out with Radiant Dash. Crazy maneuverability here on that. And they're trying. And Ballistix is trying in. They do have one catapult here helping out. They are going to get a lot of damage onto Gemini. Gemini might actually go down. He does. But that is going to be GG. Ballistix taking it over Zero Panda. 1-0.